The mountain region of Colorado is the heart of the Colorado tourism industry. Aspen, Snowmass, Vail, Beaver Creek, and Breckenridge are nationally and internationally known for mountain recreation. The lifestyle here is second to none. It truly is living at its best. The people here are independent, generous, and hardworking. The glitz and glamour of the resorts might be what outsiders know best about the region, but thousands of people live and work in communities well outside of the resort towns. Life in and around these world-class destinations is not always easy. Nonprofits in our region are challenged to offer services for a variety of issues that may remain hidden to the casual observer. And these issues, in one way or another, connect all of us living in the mountain region. Every morning across the region, people confront a variety of challenges in their day-to-day lives. Meet John. John is the father of 3 children with a good job. He works hard to make a living for his family and every day feels the pressures imposed by childcare shortages, long commutes, and fluctuations in the local economy.
John's got to get up in time to get the kids ready, get them to the child care program, and get to his work on time. And actually he's fortunate because he's found some place for his children, because there are kids whose parents get them on the waiting list, and by the time there's room for them, they get them on when they're expecting the child, and by the time there's room, they're preschoolers. John, in looking for child care for his little ones, he has the challenges of, first off, affordability, quality, convenience, things like location and the hours of operation, and the capacity. Do they have room for his child? Across the region, infant toddler care, again, is the biggest need in terms of just the capacity. We don't have enough infant toddler spaces for these kiddos.
Like many in our region, John lives in an outlying bedroom community that services the resort areas.
Traffic's heavy on 82 between Basalt and Snowmass, so expect some delays on your commute in the Aspen area. No problems reported yet this morning on the I-70 corridor.
In order to afford a comfortable home, he must live a long distance from where he works and faces a long commute to and from work every day.
Folks are going to 8 or 10 hour day jobs and spending at least an hour, sometimes more each way commuting, which makes for a high family impact, a high school district impact, high community impact in bedroom communities, because folks might desire to work closer, but there just is not that type of industry locally. So they're driving and being away from their families 10 to 12 hours a day, if not more.
Meet Maria. Maria is from an immigrant family and sees a variety of challenges in her day-to-day life.
We estimate that in many of our communities, the immigrant population is somewhere between 30 and 50%.
The challenges that people face have to do with language, and that can affect their everyday life. It can also affect their ability to access services. The immigrant population themselves have highlighted their biggest concerns are with housing costs, with affordable dental and medical care, with access to mental health care, especially in their native language.
Substance abuse and, more broadly, mental health issues are common in our region, and they affect many of our residents.
Substance abuse many times coexists with mental health issues, we find. Therefore, we do a lot of dual diagnosis treatment. It's more likely that you'll come upon a person with a mental illness or mental crisis than a heart attack or cancer. For people with more acute needs, suicidal, homicidal, gravely disabled, we have one psychiatric hospital in between Denver and Salt Lake City. And the national average of beds per 100,000 people is 14. Colorado's average is 10 beds to 100,000 people, and the Western Slope is only 6 beds to 100,000 people.
Maria wants to better her life and the lives of her family and is thinking about applying for college.
So Maria could be wondering, how is she going to get tuition just to go to college? As we all know, college is outrageously expensive, even for residents. So is she going to be able to get any tuition help? Is she going to be able to qualify as a resident of Colorado getting that tuition help?
Maria is a high school graduate, but often wonders if she's truly prepared for college. She went to high school in Colorado during a time of great budget cuts.
Colorado funds its students at about $2,700 less per student than the average across the nation. We're about 43rd in the rankings in terms of school funding, which is pretty low. But if you think about $2,700 just to get us to average, and what our schools could be doing with $2,700 more per student in our buildings.
Meet Janice. Janice is retired, is on a fixed income, and lives with her daughter. Janice faces many of the same issues that seniors across the region struggle with.
We have a major transportation issue. So potentially if there's seniors that don't have their own mode of transportation here, which is extremely common, it can be isolating and hard for them to find people of their peer groups to interact with and socialize.
Affordable housing is an issue that affects nearly everyone in our region, but for seniors, it is especially prevalent. Janice would like to live in affordable senior housing, but because of financial constraints and limited availability, finds herself having to live with family.
One thing we feel lacking right now is that access to independent senior housing that is safe, quality, and affordable.
Affordable housing is a huge issue everywhere across this region.
There's a lot of needs here that don't get addressed, and we're always trying to figure out, the appropriate housing to be able to attract the appropriate people.
The people in the mountain region are very connected, not only by a love for mountain living, but also by the issues and challenges that are prevalent here. Our stories are unique, but so is our vision of the future.
I think we are really fortunate, partly because of where we live, and it doesn't get any better, but also because of our ability to come together and work to solve problems.
It's still the kind of place where you can sit around the kitchen table and make some change in your town.
The success models on different strategies to affect some of these negative outcomes that we experience in all of our communities exist. And so we're not trying to do something insurmountable. We're trying to do something that other places, other communities, other mountain regions around the United States and the world have already figured out. And I think it's our challenge of how can we focus on those successes and then bring the funding to implement those processes.